Murno, the once guardian of the former 13th universe, is reborn. His presence can be felt all throughout the 12 universes. I feared this day would come, he adds, but now I see what must be done. This was never intended to happen, the Grand Priest says, and from what I'm sensing, his heart is overwhelmed by rage and hatred. I sense both a great loss and burning desire at getting revenge settling in. He is too far gone to be reasoned with, he adds. I can't sense his power or life energy, Beerus adds. Can you, Whis? Has he truly transcended beyond what he was? As Whis went on to respond, it's more than just transcending. It's as though he is an entirely new being, a soulless one, he adds. This is how I remembered him by, except he wasn't consumed by this darkness and hatred. So, how strong do you think Murno is now compared to how he was before, Goku asks? I can't seem to feel his energy at all. You think he truly is everything he said he was going to be? By the expression on Whis' face, Vegeta adds, I'd say we are not going to be dealing with the same person, Kakarot. There's no telling what we are in for once we run into him again. We are going to need to give it our all if we even hope to survive, let alone beat him, he adds. Especially if his clones were difficult to deal with, let alone his true body. I don't like this, Vegeta says. This might be one fight we cannot win, Kakarot. Wait, so if his true power and original body is now restored, then where exactly is he, Goku asks? As in the meantime, with Murno then shown having to exit through the Dark Dimension and now having to enter Universe 8, it was during this point in time where Murno had finally gone in initiating his plans and seeing it through.
Sorry about the background voices. I'm watching that fight against Murno. Oh, how I enjoyed this.
These mortals here don't pose any threat to me, he adds, and to think these gods would rather choose to protect these creatures over their own kind. It's been generations since the last time I came into this universe. Look how far it's fallen. Pathetic. It's time to purge you from this paradise you call life, Murno says. Your loss of life will not be remembered. Let this blast deep into outer space, and going as far as to wipe out trillions of life forms by blowing up hundreds of planets, as even the Grand Priest was able to sense this on Beerus' planet. That's when Whis went on to walk on over by asking, Grand Minister, do you also sense this great loss of life in the 8th? I do, Whis, says the Grand Priest. It has begun. I wasn't expecting for him to enter Universe 8, but rather come here first. But why? There must be a reason for this, the Grand Priest says. As hundreds of different planets are then shown being destroyed in Universe 8, it was only from that point on where a voice went on to ask Murno, and just what the hell do you think you're doing? As from behind Murno, we then see how both the Universe 8 God of Destruction, Liquior, and his angel Korn had then confronted Murno. As Liquior went on to continue, how the hell did you manage to come into this universe undetected, he asks.
Alright, anyway, tonight we're gonna draw the fusion of... hi. We draw the fusion of Arrestramon and Blossomon. It's been a while since we've seen this.
It's been far too long, Murno says. Surely you haven't forgotten about me, have you? You seem to be doing well for yourself. Tell me something. How has your position been treating you in this universe? I ask because there won't be one once I'm done here. The last time I saw your face, you stood in silence and watched me suffer. Don't do this, Murno, Korn shouts. This is not the way, my brother. Think about what you're doing. There won't be a universe, huh? Liquior asks. Not if I don't see to it to end your life, there won't. You're no angel. You disgraced your title a long time ago. I'm calling your bluff. Then if you're bold enough to call my bluff, Murno says, come stop me then. I will enjoy ripping you apart and making you into my first example, foolish animal. Pathetic, huh? That mouth of yours will be the first thing I detach from your face. You will not disrespect me. As Liquior from there was shown dashing directly towards Murno, as from that point on, Korn had begged Liquior not to do this, as Korn went on to shout, do not engage! But Liquior did not listen, because as Liquior went on to punch Murno in the face, this had absolutely no effect on him, as Murno was barely shown even having to flinch, as Liquior went on to respond.
Alright, now we draw the vine sticking out of Arrestramon's back.
Attempts to attack Murno anyway, as Murno went on to tell him, your attacks are a joke. as within that very moment, out of nowhere, what Murno had done was Murno had gone and simply having to glare once at Liqueur, which turned out to be more effective than meets the eye, as Liqueur's body from that point on was shown crashing through multiple different planets, and even shown getting blown right past his own angel, as from that point on, Murno went on to get behind his brother by telling him, "Don't assume that you will be exempt from this punishment either, traitor." As with one unexpected and brutal backhand to Korn's face, Korn's body was then shown flying out into the distance, as Murno wanted to emphasize his pain by then telling his brother, "Your loyalty to that ridiculous child Zeno will cost you dearly. You could have made a difference. You all could, but now I have become the difference maker, and there will be no mercy." But then, to the surprise of Murno, Liqueur had returned and teleporting in front of Murno by telling him, "I agree, there will be no mercy," he says, "Hakai!" But to the horrifying shock of Liqueur, the Hakai technique did not work at all, as Liqueur stood there shocked by responding, "It's not working. Why isn't it working? This isn't possible." As out of nowhere, it was now Murno's turn in attacking Liqueur, as Murno went on to uppercut Liqueur in the stomach by telling him, "Your failure shouldn't come as a surprise when faced against a superior life form. You had your chance, the Destroyer. My power has no limits." As Liqueur went on to cough up blood by asking, "What are you?" "Let's lead by example," Murno continues. "This technique was fumbled around by the entity known as Goku Black. Let's make use of this properly," as Murno had gone in spawning 2 energy blades and then being shown slicing off Liqueur's arms. It was only from that point on where Murno went on to tell him, "Beginning with your arms, these in which were used against me will be taken away," he says. "If one chooses to live by the sword, then you will be held to die by the sword, Destroyer." As with Liqueur shown screaming in absolute agony, it was only then where out of nowhere, Korn had attempted in striking Murno from behind, but Murno was in fact fast enough in having to quickly move out of the way, as Korn went on to shout, "Stop this! You will not, Murno!" "No, Korn," says Murno, "I will not. You will wait your turn once I'm done." As again, with one simple punch to the face, Murno had gone in knocking his brother deep into outer space by telling him, "Ironic how you choose to fight for the Destroyer, but never bothered to fight for me when I needed you the most. It's as I said, you will wait your turn." As with Murno then shown turning around and then grabbing Liqueur by the neck, he then went on to tell him, "Now back to you. Do you know why this is happening? Because it's destiny," Murno says. "I hold the keys to both life and death, not you. I am going to bathe history with your blood. Disgusting placement holder. You had no purpose. And those with no purpose don't belong here," he says. "So here's a parting gift," Murno adds. "A token for your defiance. History will remember you."
Here's
as
the vines
he
sticking out of his,
believed he could have made a
the double
difference.
vines.
"Now disappear from existence," Murno says. As with one gigantic blast, Murno had gone in doing exactly what he had said, and that's completely go as far as to wipe out the Universe 8 God of Destruction for good. As from that point on, with nothing remaining, that's when Murno went on to continue, "Not a trace remaining. The beauty of death will never cease to amaze me." Did he truly think he stood a chance against what I am now? I am beyond the simple power these destroyers possess. As Korn went on to utter, "Murno, what have you done? He's gone. The God of Destruction is really gone. Murno, how could you? How could you do this?" And now, brother, it's your turn. As promised. Why are you in such a loss for words? Did you not think this day would come? Did you not think I was going to return? Why are you not active, Murno asks. Your destroyer was killed. Your duties are over. How are you still functioning, he questions. As an angered Korn went on to respond, "You will not get away with this. You know that, don't you? I will do what I must to protect this universe. I am active because the Grand Minister has lifted the laws of us angels. We are permitted to do what we must in order to see this through against you." "Interesting," Murno responds. "So the Grand Priest calls for his children to be slaughtered instead of facing me directly. cowardice, he says, but then, out of nowhere from behind Murno, multiple space cops were then shown appearing as they went on to tell Murno, you are under arrest. There he is, right there, target locked, fire, fire, fire. As we then see how all of these ships had gone in firing multiple attacks at Murno, but with Murno shown creating a barrier and once again turning around and glaring at the ships directly, none of this had happened to have phased Murno in the slightest, as these individuals were then shown getting killed. As Murno's actions from here on in were enough to warrant a response from Korn, that's when Korn was shown dashing
Here's
towards
the
Murno
extra
directly,
vine.
telling him that's enough. I cannot let you destroy what remains in this universe. And you think you will stop me how, Murno asks. As with Murno then shown having to move back and avoiding Korn's staff strike, that's when Korn went on to tell him, I will do what I must. Do not force my hand. You will stop this and face the Grand Priest. But despite what it was that Korn was saying, Murno had gone and grabbing onto Korn's staff by telling him, you and I both know that that won't be happening, Korn. You will stop, Murno, Korn shouts. As from a close enough distance, Korn attempted to blast Murno in the face, but with Murno shown being fast enough and simply having to move his neck and
Here's
avoid
the vines.
back on Beerus' planet, the Grand Priest was then beginning to sense the
I got one last vine to draw, and we'll be complete. I don't know what's up with my device.
Was always forbidden, but to ensure victory, they must do what is needed to protect their positions as angels as well as defending their universe. I sense the battle shifting in Murno's favor, he adds. Korn must hold on long enough for the Omni Kings to grant me approval to intervene, but I fear by then, he continues, it will already be too late. As Whis went on to ask him, he will kill him if this goes on. Are the others aware of Murno's arrival? What are we to do if we are not able to be given access to intervene? They are all aware of Murno's presence, but are not aware of his sudden entry, the Grand Priest says. I will go and contact them now. If I am unable to sway the Omni Kings into
And finished! That's how you draw a Restramon Blossomon fusion.
Both the destroyers, mortals, and angels. I trust that whatever happens, we cannot lose the Super Dragon Balls.
That's all for now. Be sure to like and rock and subscribe to my channel. That's one fusion finished. There's more on the way. Stegosaurus, see you later. Good night.